It's so nice to be here, and it's my first podcast ever, so I'm quite thrilled, and I hope it goes well. I've done few, what do you call, on on mic and like speeches and lectures, but I've really never done a podcast. But y'all have made me already feel so comfortable, and I'm so happy to be here. So it's all cool.
So, to kick things off, tell us about yourself.
Um, I'm Parth, basically a city boy. A tier 3 city boy, I would say. Grown up around a lot of grounds, and so I'm quite into sports. Done my schooling from St. Paul's, one of the good schools here. And 11th, 12th, I actually took up sports so seriously that I wanted to make a career in golf. So I shifted to Bangalore and I did external studies. I just came here for exams and then went back. And then I went to SP Gen. We decided that I'll do education, and then I went for SP Gen. I did my BBA and Masters in Finance. So that is who I am academically. And then as soon as I finished, I joined in here. I joined in Vega, and it's been a roller coaster of a ride that we'll uncover in the coming times. But that's me, a little bit about me. Yeah.
So Vega is now a household name. So can you tell us where it all began?
It began back in 1982, 1983. Mr. Singh started it. We actually took over Vega in 1991. Yeah, 1991. I'll have to check if the year is correct. But we took over from Mr. Singh, and at that time we were making 20 helmets at the time, 18 to 20 helmets, and we had no experience in it, and there was a crazy ride. We had no experience, we didn't know how to sell, we didn't know how to make, but we just had two things: determination and very good communication between ourselves to make helmets available for everyone and be and save lives. That's our main vision, is to save lives of our riders. So yeah, and it's been a family-run organization. As you know, there are 4 brothers who run the show, and the reason for key success, one of the reasons for success is each one of them had their own departments, and each one of them specialized in it. So yeah, and so that gave us a good grip and good integration to specialize in many things at the same time. So our family is our strength.
So, what did your family do before starting with?
Multiple cores, very irrelevant, I would say at the time. They used to sell threads that lightens lanterns for light at the old house, like when there used to be blackouts, there used to be like gas cylinders that used to give lights out. I don't know what's it called exactly, but there used to be a thread that used to burn the candle, so like slow down the burning process. So that is what we used to sell to different households. And one of our pickups was there was a blackout in Belgaum for about 3 days, and there was a lot to sell of those. So that's when we actually started a little bit of making money, and then that's how a lot of things that went place to get Vega from Mr. Singh. Yeah.
So, what's the story behind Axor?
So I'll tell you let me start by saying the mindset that we've had. Okay, we were the first people in the market to make helmets a fashionable product. Another reason for our success is we moved away from that helmets are only meant for bypassing a police guy, right? There is so much of it here, and we were the first one to actually stand for safety and to stand for helmet is a fashionable product, like how you have watches and goggles, and like helmets is a fashion product. We were the first one to come with the graphics. and we were the first one to bring style in. So since then, we always wanted to lead in the aesthetic segment with keeping safety along. We worked on making it very good fit, very, very safe, and aesthetically very pleasing. So when Axor came in, we saw that we saw a shift in riders also. Like now, people started riding for enthusiasm also, like for pleasure also. Like they used to just take out bikes and go for like 100, 200 kilometers ride or ride for 3 days. We saw that shift happening, and that led to saying, okay, we need to make products not just for daily commuters but also for these riders enthusiasts. We need to make them with with broader visions, like peripheral visions. We need to make them so that they can enjoy the scenic while they're riding, unlike the commuters who just want to skip the potholes in India. But so that segment really changed, and then we saw more and more spending on fashionable products, as you see, and in brands, and that trend helped us bring in Axor, and it's been very good since then. And we always had a vision of making this a world number one brand. Vega and Axor together, we wanted to make a world brand. While Vega products were mainly focused on the Indian market, we bought in Axor as to take on the world, right? Like why limit your thought? Why limit your vision? So this I give credibility. Like a lot of credit goes here to our fathers. Like I'm a second generation in the business, so a lot of the credit goes to our fathers who had that vision and that thought process, that why are we just sticking to India, where India is one of the biggest motorcycle riding countries, right? It's number one, number two, right? It's right up there. But that didn't stop them, and that is the hunger, and that is the determination of being world number one inside the organization.
So, what do you think was the biggest breakthrough moment for Vega?
Well, I was not in the business at the time, so it is a question for our fathers. But I think being very customer centric, only studying and seeing what customers want, okay, and being able to deliver that is one of the key success that Vega has had. And till date, and mind you, till date, we only see what our customer wants, not the distributors. I'm talking about the one who is finally wearing our helmet. How are we making his life easier? How can we make his ride better? How can we reduce 1 gram if need be from his head? And also make him have a feeling that he's bought something, right? Not just spent money on evading the cost. We still work on those things, right? And those are things that we worked on what we worked on 30 years ago, right? So, and now, and one of the other things that we've started incorporating in the organization is, we don't see what is changing in the next 10 years. This is a quote by, I think, Steve Jobs, or I think Mark Zuckerberg for Facebook, and it is really hit with us at the whole group of Vega organization, that we're not seeing what is changing in the next 10 years. We're not building a strategy on that. We are rather building a strategy on what is not going to change for the next 10 years, right? And once we see that, what is not changing, and Mark Zuckerberg put it out so very well, and things have been so far different from now. We know that, like, no matter how much, whether people ride EVs or whether they ride whatever's happening with this whole artificial, we are integrating that, but we know that people will not stop wearing helmets. It's only going to increase year on year till for the next 10 years, right? Even in India and even in the world. In the world combined together, it's growing at about 8%, and it's a 2.8 billion market, and so and we are 2% of the world market, right? And that thing, or that strategy of being able to see what's not going to change is now going to be pivotal for us.
In India, we usually hear people say that if you want to build something big, you need to go to a big city like Bangalore or Mumbai. But Vega was built in Belgaum. So, do you think that was a disadvantage or an advantage?
Do you think Vega is big?
Yeah, I do.
So then it's built out of one of the smallest cities with a population of 10 lakh people. Again, it comes back to how determined you're to do it. And in fact, I would say it's been one of our strengths, because if you see geographically, the city is located 500 kilometers from Bombay, 500 odd kilometers from Bangalore, 300, 400 kilometers, 350 kilometers from Pune. So while the people's cost, I would say, the people, the money we pay to hire people or to work for us, the white collar, blue collar, XYZ, the CXOs, everything is far more economical, right? And that has been our strength. So whatever we produced here in 500 kilometers odd, we have such big cities around us, and keeping it in such a small city, keeping our costs low, was one of the reasons why we were able to, so, and I believe there is so much power in tier 2, tier 3 cities till date. And if you talk to any financial geniuses, they will tell you that focus on tier 2 and tier 3 cities, because that's where the real value is, and the real value and the real money is. So it has been a very, very, very big advantage for being here. And we love the city, we love the weather, and it is so open. There's so much sports happening, and people are so competitive, even like laid back. Not everyone wants to achieve everything, but if you're with the right set of people, you'll find how from such small areas and such small streets, people have come out and make multi-billion-dollar companies. And probably you've interviewed few then.
Yeah. If you had to start Vega with venture capitalist money and social media marketing, how different would be the journey?
Again, it's very, very, very difficult to give that answer. But again, like with VCs comes a lot of, like in Vega, we've been able to move fast, right? So when, like, for example, when COVID came, we didn't just stop, right? Because we have 4,000 plus families to feed, right? How can you stop at that time? And at the time when people need the most. So what did we do? We started making COVID shields. You can go back in time and see what Vega did at the time of COVID. We called in people, used all the hazardous regulations, put them in safe distances, and started making shields for doctors, for people who are in need. What is that? Seeing market trends, right? So, and being able to move fast, right? So if we get in a lot of VC, we get in a lot of money, if you have to always see the right partner with you, right? Like I said, our team, our family is our strength, right? Imagine getting a wrong VC guy on board and he's questioning you, oh, why are you now making helmets? Oh, why are you making shields at the time of COVID, right? Then your people are upset. There are a lot of good VCs that really help you grow, but there are a lot of VCs who just are worried about their profits. So again, if you get the right VC on board, he can take your graph from 10, 20% growth, 30% growth to direct 80% growth, 100% growth, 200% growth. But if the wrong one, can even decline you all the way. So again, the journey would have been different in certain ways, but in certain ways it would be very, very same. Our family would still stick through thick and thin. We'd still work on creating the best thing for the customer. Now, I've never worked with a VC directly. I've done an internship with one of the firms that are into investing and Banyan Tree, but I've never worked for a firm that has been. So I cannot give you a direct answer. It would be not right. But I think few fundamentals would still be the same. And then if a good VC would help us probably be much bigger, and a bad VC would have been one. But yeah.
Probably don't know this. I don't know if you know it. So when Vega started, was there ever a moment where your family thought that this won't work?
Couple of times, and one you would not believe how, and I would like to bring it out in this podcast that we're doing, and I want to say it live. While we thought that this is going to be the best year of our best time of Vega and this thing, and we had the worst downfall. And I'll tell you why, and I'll tell you how. Right? We had, I think, I don't remember, a government rule change saying that everyone has to wear helmet is compulsory, right? And we started producing, and we started giving it to everyone who wanted it, right? So we gave it to all our relatives, like far off relatives. We gave it to our friends. We gave it to all the dealers that we have, and because there was a law saying that okay, everyone has to wear helmets, and at that time no one used to wear helmets. So you can imagine the boom that we got, right? Yeah. But 4-5 days, 15 days later. 15 days later, and we gave this all on credit because such a fast time, you're like, okay, give credit, we'll take in later. And in 15 days the people realized that this policy is just made, but it's not going to be implemented, right? You go all the way back, and all now your relatives and people you thought you're not doing business with and who really thought you're there for you and really helping you grow, sends back all the material. So at that time you're left with, I think, 7,000-8,000, I don't remember the number, my numbers might be wrong, but 8,000, 10,000 helmets at your stock. You don't have space to produce. Everything is standstill. What do you do? They decided that there was almost going to be a decision that, okay, I think we have enough helmets. We should try selling them, not producing them. And mind you, once we stop producing, our fixed costs, our weight, like salaries and the rent we have to pay and everything goes for a really high. So then when that is high, and you're not even being able to sell because you already sold so much in the market and they're returning back and no one wants to pay you at the time, you have to take a decision. But again, that's where we were determined. No, we're going to sell and we're going to keep running. So we kept producing, kept our people, said that, oh no, whatever happens, we lose whatever we want, but we're not going to let you go. And when you see those tough times, right, that is when people really stick with you, right? Our family, a Vega family, is just not here for money or salary. They're living lives based on what the company is doing. So we cannot not take our job seriously, right? Because there are so many people relying on us, right? And we are so happy, and they've stuck through us through thick and thin, and vice versa, mind you, right? When they needed us, we were there to deliver. So many times we've handled personal problems of our family, of Vega family, saying, okay, sir, like they come to the management and they say that there's been a family problem, there's been a family accident, and I need some. No member of the management would say no, and I can give you my word for this. They would never say no. That's why, because we have to provide for them, because they are providing for us, they're providing for the company, they're providing for the vision. And without them, without the person sitting on the factory today, I am nothing. Vega is nothing. So it's built in a format that we are there for each other. They are our pillars, and they work for us while we also work for them, right? No matter whether the MD, chairman, promoters, everyone, the CXO, our CFO, CTO, sales executives, everyone works for the person, right, standing at the gate and saying welcome. And that person is welcoming people with a smile because they are working for him. Yeah. Right? So if the money, the salary and the designation all comes later, right? It's what you're working for. And today you're doing this because you think that your vision is going to take, like you doing this is in years going to take you somewhere, right? And that's what all of us are doing. We believe that what we are doing and what vision we carry out today as a promoter group, as a strategist, what we make for the future is 4,000 people relying on it. So it makes it even more important to make it right. So yeah, going back, there has been 3-4 incidents. I just mentioned one, but the times where we were like, we're gonna shut books. But our team, our communication with them has made us see through it, and we're doing well now.
So, do you believe that the future is smart helmets? Like they'll have features like GPS and Bluetooth and AR heads-up display, things like that.
Well, it's very difficult to directly answer that question, but yes, our studies are saying that people are moving to smarter helmets with inbuilt Bluetooth communication systems. They want to be communicated. They want to be crash detected. They want to have visuals on their visors saying, okay, what speed they're going and when is the next left. And with yes, it is, and Axor has been one of the first ones to come out with a premium smart helmet. We are seeing that, and overall internationally, yes, people are moving towards smarter helmets, but it's still very, very small. Do I see the future? Yes. In a big way, the future is going to move towards smarter helmet, and we are very aligned with it. But there is always going to be some people who are just using that helmet to commute from their daily work, and they don't really care whether they have music inside or not. And so I will never disregard this segment. But yes, this segment is growing. Like, it's the same thing when internet came in. How from direct distributors there was an online started selling, right? So does it mean that this stops? No, right? It's just more added on marketplace, and so it's that shift. Similarly, this shift will happen. Like now people are familiar with internet. People are now familiar with fast e-commerce, like quick e-commerce, like 10 minutes delivery and stuff. Does that mean that it's going to stop Alphabet or Amazon from selling whatever they're selling on an app? No, right? Similarly, like smarter helmets, yes, 15%, 12%, 20% can come on, but there will always be a big chunk, not just in India, even in Vietnam, Indonesia, people who are just trying to use their bikes to commute, and be it in South America, like Colombia, or there'll of course be people who are really interested in listening to music and riding their Ducatis or Kawasaki's, but there'll always be people who are riding their 100, 125cc bikes with just trying to commute, go to the office, come back, have a happy life. Right? So, yeah, it's that.
But don't you think these helmets are a little distracting and unsafe?
Not, I would not say that. So see, again, let's go back to standards, right? Let me take you. If the Indian institutes, Indian Standard of Institute, are okay to give that. Right now, they are not at the like, you have to be very, very in the laws. So what we've done is in the laws, right? So the Axor helmets, the smart helmet, is with the ISI standard. So if you're within the law, then they know that, okay, like now listening to music in the car, right? That you can still say it's a distraction, yes. Yeah. But is that causing harm to the people? No, right? Like, it's not. You cannot say that, okay, people who listen to music are directly proportionate to the number of accidents that are going on. So it's a similar thing, right? You can say it is slight, like it is distraction, but not to the area where you will not get certified for it. And everything we try and do is all so if a body, right, like Federal Motor Vehicle State Body, or FMVSS, or that FMVSS gives DOT, or VCA gives, like, ECE. ECE is for European standards, and DOT is for the American standards. All of these have smart helmets, right? And they're well within this federal state of certified bodies. So so they have really worked hard on seeing whether it's distracting or not, right? And whether that distraction can lead to an accident or not. And so we are well within that range, and that is making lives easier. Not just like if I'm on the bike and Siri just tells me, or Google Maps just tells me on my headphone that you have to go take a ride, and if I'm on a super bike, or I don't have to have the visual, right? So it can be very, very debatable whether it is directly distracting or not, right? Well, yeah, if some people want to do random stuff on things and listen to very loud music and go crazy on the bike, it's a distraction, yes, but that is in the cars as well. And you're riding, you've been driving cars with music for donkey years now. Sorry for saying that, but like many years now, right? So it's similar. It's just making our lives easier in ways. And like suppose now there are systems, there are such beautiful systems like now. Of course, not just telling the way, like there is crash detection system. So if your helmet falls from a certain height, and if it's detected, it immediately sends notifications to your family members or your friends. And if that information is so important, imagine that how many lives we'll be able to save. Because so many times, like if it's an accident, bad accident, people don't want to touch you, they don't want to do anything. So many cases, so many cases, right, where they're just
they don't want to get involved.
They don't want to get involved because there are cops, and then why did you help, or what did you have, and they don't know what the end outcome is. And at that time, your family members who's like 10 minutes away from you knows that they're going to be speeding through life and death for you, and then pick you up and see that you get the best medical care. And that is a technology you want to have, right? Because you're riding, you're still taking that risk of riding, right? So yeah, I mean,
it will save a lot of people.
Exactly.
For example, yesterday I saw a reel in which Ather introduced pothole detection in their
Exactly.
scooters. So that's a great.
We've been working with Ather to develop that. We make those helmets that Ather uses the technology, but we are making those helmets for Ather today.
Okay.
And what a beautiful invention.
Yeah,
Imagine
that's great,
if you're riding
especially
at 40, 60 kilometers per an hour, 80, whatever the speed limit is, and in 300 meters that there is a pothole coming. You're so much aware, right?
So that's a great thing.
Yeah. I feel that tech cannot ever be either or. It cannot be like, it's completely safe, or neither can be like completely distracting.
It lies in the middle.
It lies in the middle. There has been too many pros we've seen, and there are limited cons as well. So I would never take a stand on saying, it's only a pro. If people want to change music while they're riding, you cannot do anything for that, right? There are people who still ride without helmets. There's such a big market that still rides without helmet. How can you tell those people that you need to wear it for your safety? And that is what Vega is trying to do. We are not trying to we're going to try and educate our customers that you need to wear. We are trying to grow the market as a whole. We want to tell the people that you need to wear a helmet for your own safety. And that is something as a company we should not be doing, because everyone should be concerned about their safety. But this is where we are. And this is not just in India, right? I take care of exports. I see so many people are still wearing helmets only because the law says it. Otherwise, they'd be very happy riding without helmets. And even in US or even in UK.
So if Vega, like in the next 5 years, if Vega launches smart helmets, would they be affordable to the Indian middle class?
We've already launched a smart helmet that is quite affordable, and we're doing very well with it. I would like to say it's called Apex Smart Helmet, Axor Apex Smart Helmets. You can look it up. I'm also advertising my product now, but yeah, it ranges around 9,000-10,000 bucks. It's
a decent price for us.
Yeah, we've just launched it, and at a very, very economical price range, because there are so many smart helmets ranging at 50k, 60k, 1 lakh, 2 lakhs. Again, whatever we are doing for the mass segment. Right? We want to, whatever the highest of technology, the best of material, we want to bring it to people, to our people. I'll tell you, even if one of our riders, a Vega riders, is wearing an 800 to 1,000 rupee helmet, right, at the entry level, and someone who's wearing it at 8,000, 9,000, they still have the same raw material. Their impact tests are going to be the same, right? So their safety levels are still the same. Of course, you get added certifications and stuff like that in the higher end helmets, but if at the preliminary level at 40, 50, whatever is the road norms, if they're wearing a Vega helmet, they are 100% as safe as they are wearing a 60,000, 1 lakh rupee helmet. If they're riding the same, but with more speed and agility and other stuff, like if you're on the track, you can't wear an 800 rupee helmet because then you're working in a different arena. But again, a lot of the highest, most expensive of our helmets is made of the same material as is 800 rupee, 1000 rupee helmet. We don't use different materials for our people because we believe a person riding a Honda Activa or like whatever, most 125cc or lesser, or riding 1000cc Superbike, their lives are equally important. Right? We cannot say, okay, you know what, he's paying us 800 rupees, his life doesn't matter. He's paying us 5,000 rupees, his life doesn't matter. No. Anyone wearing a helmet is our primary responsibility to save their life. And that is the trust that we've gained from over, I don't know, you say 9 million, you said, right? 9 million helmets a year over 30 years. Of course, it's been a growth, but average it out 5 million. 5 million over 30 years is that many people trusting us with their lives, right? Approximately.
What do you think is the biggest differentiator that separates Vega from other helmet brands?
Again, I think it brings back to the same thing. Providing value, making it look like it's a style statement, and riders' comfort. The end goal is basically we're so customer centric, and that's what differentiates apart. Our profit is the last thing we would say. Our cost is the last thing we would say. Of course, it will come back to profit only, right? But we put ourselves behind our customers, and that is something that really differentiates us from a lot of our competitors. Yeah.
Can you give us a quick explanation of what ISI, DOT, and ECE certifications are?
I think it's Indian Standard of Institute, that formerly known as BIS, Bureau of Indian Standards. Basically, it's a threshold that only above this quality and this level of safety you are allowed to wear those helmets in the Indian roads, and that is what is safe for you. So basically, it's a government body that, like for anything, right? Like today you have your milk or your water. Like, how do you know whether the milk you're having is okay to drink or not? Right? So a government body has certified what you're eating is edible or not. You have the FDA, food and
The FSI.
sorry.
The FSI certification. FSI.
Yeah, FSAI, yes, FSAI certificate. Yeah, similarly. So what is acceptable on the Indian roads is Indian standards, and similarly, Federal Motor Safety Standard (FMVSS) does a certification called DOT for the bike riders of US, and ECE is in Europe and the UK market. Similarly, TIS is for Thailand, JIS is for Japan.
So every country has a different.
Every country has. Brazil has NBR. Every country has one of their own norms. Some don't. Like Angola or something, they still work on it. They're okay with that. But those are standards that are acceptable. And since day one, we've only given ISI helmets. While there is a huge market, I think in India still 35% or more wears non-ISI helmets, and these unorganized segments, they make helmets from PET and PET plastic, and which will just like blast out from here. There's a big market for that. We can make a lot of money doing that, right? I'm telling you with affirmative that we can make 3 times more of what we are making if we do that, if we decide to do that. But we won't. We are okay to let go of our profits because we want to gain trust. We are working towards saving people's life. Finished. End goal. Profit making, that's why we come out with jackets, accessories, gloves, all within the standards that are helping save people's life. We're already working on not just saving people's head, but also saving their other, and that's where jackets are coming. Why should a commuter rider only be worried about his head? Right? Why can't we save his head? Why can't we save his elbows? Why can't, if he's going to have a fall, doesn't mean that he's only going to hit his head. Right? That's where we are coming to next. At the end, years later, we want to see that the person who's wearing our equipment are completely safe, right? Like we can say we should be able to say with that the probability of an incident happening to a person, if an accident has happened, should be less than 1%, and that is the goal you want to achieve. You see the numbers that people are dying due to road accidents, and it's off the roof, it's off the charts, and that is a problem that we would like to solve. That is our problem statement, right? And that problem is so well defined, and that's what helps our strategy. कि भाई अपने को लोग को बचाना है, right? And that is what we are working towards. How we have to save them. Then once you know that you have to save people, then how we have to save them. What do we have to use? How do we make it for them? How do we make them wear it? All these answers start falling in line then. But if your objective is to make the biggest profit and like make big profits, then you don't know what you're doing, right? So many companies have lost their path because of profit, right? They are so focused, okay, if I make this cheaper, I am going to make 10x money more. Go for it. You won't last. That is why we are having this conversation, right? Because we've been able to get that trust from the customers. That is very, very important. Returning back to the question when you asked me if you had to start with VC and if you had to start with social media marketing, this is one of the core principles that Vega would not give up, no matter who it is. Right? So again, that I would, if we had to start now, we would start again with one small principle, and that would be this. And if any VC comes and says, okay, we are okay to join with you to save people's life, welcome on board. And then do social media marketing and stuff like that. But if they're no, let's reduce this, make 10x profit, I'll take an exit, we're not aligned, and that would not be a good partner. And go back, just for your, even as a friend, I'm talking to you, go back and see the numbers who've lost their tracks because of profit, who've not been able to be in the market because they saw profit short and medium term and forgot about the long run. Because what we're doing takes hard work. It's not easy, right? And that's why I can count the number of people in my hand today in India that are doing this, right? 2-3 of our big competitors, Taj Steel, and us. We're the only few people who've been able to do this because they have. And to eradicate short-term profit, it's like giving a candy to the child, to a children, and saying, okay, don't eat it. It's that hard, But consistently doing it, day on day, consistently doing that, seeing the broader vision. That's what helps you be in the market. And that's what helps you grow a brand, a name that people can trust. Do you think it's easy for a company like us, or do you think it's easy for anyone to be able to trust with your life products? How many? Ask yourself this: okay, if you had to go bungee jumping, how many things are you trusting?
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So many people don't do it because they don't trust whether that rope is going to stand. Similarly, when people are going on the bike, imagine wearing a Vega. Imagine them choosing to wear Vega, coming and asking to our counters, "मेरे को Vega ही चाहिए, मेरे को और नहीं चाहिए." That credit has to be given to our fathers, to what we are doing at Vega, to the people who are making our helmets for us. Yeah.
So, what are the next innovations for Axor?
Like I said, we are moving towards smarter helmets. We are coming out with a full range. If you see now, we in the Axor, we are still so new. It's 2015, but we are still so new. We are yet to have a good flip up. We are coming up with open faces, and we want to next in tech part, I would say that We are looking at integrating multiple smart helmets so that, like, suppose if you, me, and her are planning to go for a ride, we don't have to get distracted. We can just be interconnected. Right? We're working on crash detection. We're working in like a lot of areas. So a lot of tech innovations will happening. We are working with in the night, if a rider is riding, there are some bikes have very small lights. So why doesn't a helmet have a light? So we're working on getting sort of blinking lights on the helmet so that the drivers or the riders behind are much aware that there's a biker who's going ahead. So and the glow in the dark prints is what we're going to come up with, and multiple things that we are working on.
What features are already included in the smart helmet?
There is the crash detection. There is an app that you can work on. There is swipe feature where you can swipe to answer calls. So imagine that when you're getting a call, ideally you have to like stop the bike, or some people actually just take it out and take that risk, but you just have to swipe and then you can answer, right? And then you can ask Google to navigate for you, and then you can listen to music while you're riding. These things are already in. Where what we are working on now is to make it more effective, to make it more cost friendly, how we can have all these features first to the people, and then we'll start adding more variants to it, like how we can see at like the fatigue level. That would be the next step, right? Like how we can tell a rider, okay, listen, you are fatigued enough, take a rest. That would be the next step. But first, these principles, to solve, like they don't have to wear headphones, and they don't have to answer calls. So these are the things that we want to bring to the mass people first. That's our small term objective. The long term objective is to add more, like the visor will then have sort of a screen down, and in the screen you can see what speed, where you have to go, and sort of all your fuel levels and etc on the screen. So that would be the next step, right? So
It's very cool.
yeah, that's
So Axor is designed in Spain, right?
yeah, some of it, and some of it is here as well. Yeah.
So how much of the price is due to designing and how much is due to safety or new features?
See, I'll tell you, design and mold making is a one-time cost. Like it's a fixed cost. Whereas in this product that we make runs for years and years. So our costing does not include that as such. Right? Why should you? Because once you made it, you made it. Now how much ever you sell, you don't need to add that. So our cost is basically derived from is that at this cost, are we able to produce it, and are we giving value to the customer? Right? That's how we derive our costing. Right? Like when we are pricing it at 8,000 rupees or 5,000 rupees, is a rider of that segment happily paying 5,000 rupees and getting value? Yes. Okay, put it at 5,000. No. Let's redo it. Let's see how and what we can change, so that if Hussein is coming to a Vega shop, let's see how he's going to be happily paying for this helmet. So that is what we do, and we do a lot of test runs. We send a few helmets. Okay, tell our dealers. Okay, so our retailers tell. Please ask the customer how much are they willing to pay for this. 50 helmets. Over and over, they'll calculate it. They'll calculate all the numbers they'll put in, and the data will give you what's the average. So somewhere around that price, we run it backward. We see how we can get it that, and then we're out in the market. Right? That's a strategy I shouldn't be sort of revealing, but here we are talking deep inside about how we do price. Of course, we also take into consideration what material we're putting in, what cost it is, what nuts, and like screws ka kya price hai, rivets ka kya price hai, lock, cable lock, and stuff. But that is one way of doing costing, where the sheet will tell you, okay, this is the cost. But what we really do is, for the pricing, okay, like I said, okay, how much are you willing to pay for this? You'll probably give an approximate number over 30, 50, 100 people. Right? And that's the average of it will tell you, okay, boss, market itna pay karega. Go back, redo your systems and launch it. Right? Whatever you have to change and whatever you have to make it look better, what you have to add components, remove components, XYZ, and then.
So some people say that helmets usually reduce visibility and hearing, and they say that it's more dangerous than safe. Is this true?
Clearly not, right? I mean, I'm going to skip that question because whoever's asked that question is there's always going to be outliers in the market, right? Like, yeah. So I think I'm going to leave that question for the audience to decide.
Also, many of the critics say that affordable helmets can't be safe. Is it true?
No,
What's your-
like I mentioned, sorry to cut you out. Like I mentioned right earlier, so someone who's wearing an 800 rupee helmet, they have the similar raw material. Yes, if you are buying a local helmet which is really dirt cheap and they are not using the right materials, they might not be safe. But at Vega, I can fight with the world and say no, that is going to be safe, and it's according to the standards that the government is approving of, right? So whether there is no, like if you buy a lower cost helmet at Vega, you're not going to be safe. There are of course different standards and different this thing, but different need for a different rider. So then of course that safety can vary. But someone who's wearing a Vega helmet, I can be very sure, stand in front of the world and say that he or she is safe. Sorry.
What's the base material of the helmet?
ABS. It's a very big name. Acro butyrene. I don't know. I can look it up. You can cut this out. It's called ABS. It's ABS plastic. It's a very difficult name. So yeah. Acryl butyrene, something like that. Yeah.
What's the hardest part about manufacturing in India?
Well, now a lot of things have eased up, but before there used to be a lot of government intuitive that used to really be discouraging for a promoter like us to manufacture, and there used to be really high taxes, and disadvantages is how do I put it out? Let me think this through. Like in comparison with international manufacturers, there is still not enough subsidies for exporting or for like enough subsidies to manufacture a safety product. While we still believe in our hearts that we should be at 0% GST because we are making these helmets to save people's life, and that should be one of a core principle of any government, either or, that saving people's life is this thing. So why should we be taxed for it, right? So that is a disadvantage. No, I feel like India is booming in the manufacturing segment. It's like the apples are here and everyone's coming to India to produce. So I think the government must have done something right for sure. The government are taking fantastic step towards those also. So the manufacturing in India is, I would not say it's a disadvantage, it's purely an advantage, and it's a golden time for the Indian manufacturers who've been prevailing in the market and thriving for the last 30-40 years. Now is the time where they reap for their rewards. So I would not say, I cannot recall any such disadvantage at this minute, but right now it's very advantageous to be a manufacturing company in an Indian market for anyone in any industry. Crazy.
So do you think that Belgaum can become an industrial hub like Bangalore or Pune?
It is already an industrial hub. There is Vega here, there is Remsil here, there is Ashok Irons here that makes irons stuff. There is huge companies, half of sugar, like I don't know the number exactly, but so much of Karnataka sugar comes from here. There is ethanol business. There is. I would be very. It would be very harsh to say that India is not already a Belgaum is not already an industrial hub, and it's only going to grow. I see that the free zone is coming up, and the Acres free zone is already come up. There is some parts of Nerf is made in Belgaum now. Some of the guns for Nerf, all these are a sign that we are moving towards an industrial boom in Belgaum.
So now we have a this or that segment. So let's start.
Absolutely.
Cruiser or sports bike?
For me, sports bike. I own a Ducati 949 Panigale. 959 Panigale, sorry.
Ducati or Kawasaki?
Ducati.
Vega Legacy or Axor Future?
It's like choosing left eye or right eye. But neither. I mean, both.
Vega helmet on every Indian or Axor helmet on MotoGP podium?
Vega helmet on every Indian or Axor helmet on MotoGP? Vega for sure.
Better helmet design or better safety?
Yeah. Better safety always, but better design leads to better aesthetics and better safety. So it cannot be this or that, it's both.
Okay.
Outside of helmets and business, what are your hobbies?
Me, I'm big into sports. I'm a Man United fan. I love driving. I love listening to music, and I love playing sports. Everything around. That's why I've said so many times sports. Like a lot of my life revolves around a lot of sports. Sports is a big thing in my life.
You wanted to become a golfer, right?
Yeah.
So do you still play golf?
I've just restarted. I gave up the game because I thought like in Belgaum, right, there was not enough young people playing it. And so I thought that if I'm spending 4 to 5 hours in a golf course, then I should have the right company. And I thought like, my mental health is aging quite fast because I used to play with all 40, 50 plus years old. No, it's serious. So because I'll tell you, when I was 18, when I was 22, 23, and when I was playing very seriously, whatever, I used to play golf in Belgaum golf course with all 40, 45 years old people. Then I used to come to office and work and whatever with everyone above my age. And then when I went time, I spent family time with my grandmom and my parents, and so my sibling or my cousins would be the only people that I'm interacting, or my friends would be the only people that I'm interacting with as is my age, right? So much of my time is with the elder people, and I thought that's not good. So I stopped golf for that, because I used to spend 4-5 hours quite regularly with people above my age, and I said, you know what, let's play football. I work out faster, this thing. And then so that's when I decided that I'm not going to play golf for life. I went to my college where I had a lot of fun, and when I came back, I decided that I'm going to play football to keep my mental health age in check. Otherwise, because when you're so influenced by the people around you, you're going to start thinking like them.
Yeah.
And they're all thinking about having a happy life, and then relaxing. And when that influences you, it shows on your work, right? And I didn't want that for me. In fact, I just wanted to play 1 hour to train it out and then come back and be with people who are, very like-minded, or with people who are more progressive, right? Who are talking about what's happening in the world market, or who are talking about, how can we solve this problem? So
growing up, did you always want to join Vega, or you had some other plans?
I was very inclined towards the business from the beginning. So since childhood, when we used to have breakfast, lunch, dinners with family, and we used to always talk about, aaj kya hua hai? Tell me how was it? And every time there was a milestone in Vega, we used to be here as a part to cut the cake, and then you would know about the milestone. Then we used to talk about so many stories, what happened in the last milestone to this milestone. So that just says that our interest, the second gen interest, it was created by our family. But once you get that interest, you don't want to see other options. It would be a lie if I said that, I didn't try for other options. I did try. I did have work experience in other companies, like I said, in Banyan Tree, and some internships here and there. I did my share of quota while I was working, and then I was like, you know what, I burned my hand for other people enough. Now let's go back and do something that has value, something that I can, you try and find your reason, for, you want to find your ikigai, what you said. And I think when you see that you can become sort of your ikigai can be like this, then you don't want to unsee it. Then you want to see that, okay, if I am made for taking Axor world over, if I've seen that and if I've seen that in my work, it's very difficult to see, oh, you cannot not do that, right? So,
What are some of the books and movies or podcasts that has changed your perspective that you would recommend to the younger generation?
lot of podcasts going on, Nikhil Kamath, Ranveer Alyabhadia, and Joe Rogan, and all these people. But there is so much information out there. So for me, I would say that for me, something that's really helped me is the 5 a.m. Club, the book. I think that the book says that if you have a strong routine and regime, then you're going to create value. Of course, I've not been able to get up 5 a.m. all my life, and I'm not following daily, but that's what has influenced me the most. Well, there is so much information out there, and so much information. I would like to bring enthusiasm, like bring light on that. My sort of advice to a lot of people that I've seen. Sorry, let me correct this again. Okay? I've seen that there is so much of information out there. We just have to stick to what is relevant for us the most, right? And that's why I don't follow any series completely. I don't follow any podcast completely, because it at one point it starts becoming irrelevant here. And if you keep continuing to do that, like suppose today you've done, like if I'm your regular watcher, right? And if you're doing podcasts, and if I'm sorry to say this, but if I'm watching you regularly, you've interviewed one doctor, one industrialist, one one like someone from the food and service industry, one from some other industry, and now you're sitting with them, right? So one or two can be influence, like can be value to me, right? But others are just distractions. Like if you are interviewing a doctor, it is very few things are going to be takeaway. But if I spend 2 hours watching it, right, and if I'm watching Ranveer Alyabhadia or Joe Rogan or any of these podcasts every day, or I'm reading all the books that are there, it's going to be helpful for me for sure, like a little bit. But a lot of these things to learn is so time consuming. So from this vast pool of information or data or content out there, you have to be very smart to choose what is best for you. And those are the smart people, right? Am I correct or not? Does that make sense or not?
We have to choose what's the best for us.
Correct. So sorry, I'm taking your example, right?
That's fine.
But you are doing to create information around, and everyone's doing that, right? But for me personally, as a helmet manufacturer and as a businessman, if I'm spending 1.5 hour watching your show, and which is very, very slight relevance to me, am I doing a good thing or a bad thing?
Bad thing.
Correct? That's what. There's so much content. Look what you want to do. Make small steps. Right? If I know that right now my focus is to get into this region, right? This region in a country, just focus on that. Take information from that country. See their culture. Understand their. Forget about what's happening in the other part. This is your focus. And I'm saying for sort of anything, right? Like for a student doing education, right? If they are going towards a college, and if they're seeing all colleges and they're saying everything about colleges, they're wasting time. At one point, they're wasting time, and time is the biggest currency in today's life, right? So focus has to be on what is best for you, not what is best for everyone. If I want to study in India and I'm learning about colleges in the world, I'm losing time, right? It's similar, but I'm losing time, because at the end of the day, what do I want to do? I want to go to Indian college, right? And I'm saying it can be totally different. Like, for example, talk about any other topic. Give me a topic. Sports, right? So now, there is so much sports happening. there is badminton, there's cricket, there's kabaddi, there's football, there is like, and I love sports, right? So does that mean I watch a sport every day for some time? Right? No, right? I choose a team, Man United. Manchester United is my team. Okay, whenever I play, I love it so much. It relieves me from all my pressures, and it puts a lot of pressure because they're really not winning. Yeah. But I just choose one day in a week or one day in like whenever they're playing, if they're playing, whatever, and I watch them. Similarly, I choose like I have seen. I'm sorry to say this, but I've seen people crazy about IPL. Right? Like when we're talking about sports, IPL. Every day for 3 hours you can watch a game. I have done that in my past, and now I don't do that anymore. So I've chosen Mumbai Indians, and whenever Mumbai Indians playing, I watch it. I watch it with all fun and with my family. I call a few friends and everything. So, but if I am doing that for like even if I'm just putting on my TV and watching for 3 hours every day, are you seeing the downsides? And people are not realizing that. I mean, I'm sorry to say this, but half of India is not realizing that. They are watching the match every day for 3 months, 2 months. 2 months the game, like the IPL goes on, 2.5, 3 months. I'm really not saying that IPL is doing a bad job. I love IPL, right? Again, I love it to the core that I'm one of the potential people who can sit and watch every day. But I have made a sort of promise to myself that I can't do that, no matter how much I love the game. Right? I love cricket. I absolutely love cricket. But is it good for me to watch every match? No. And that's what people are not realizing. Right? Like what sort of content is right for them is right for them.
So, okay, this is a fun question. If your company had limitless, like unlimited budget for a day, what would you do?
Wow, that's interesting. I would. I would sort of do all these fancy things. I would then get riders and then MotoGP and then do whatnot and make a big noise about Vega for a day so that people know about it. Once people know, then they start talking about you, then they see your products, then they know what you stand for. Things go right. Right? Things go right. I would invest in like, I don't know, I would just pay upfront to all our suppliers to pay. I don't know, there's so much crazy things to do. But
you can just buy all, you can sponsor all the MotoGP.
I'd probably buy another, like I would diversify into something else and take up that as a challenge, to, of course, surrounding our vision to save people's lives.
Yeah.
Right? So something like that. I would do crazy stuff, keeping our vision in mind. Right?
Have you ever done like these motorcycle rallies?
Me personally?
Yeah, or the by Vega.
Yeah, we do a lot of breakfast rides. We do a lot of rides we sponsor a lot of rides from big places. A lot of our influencers do it, but personally, me, no.
You've never participated?
No, I actually, I'll be very honest with you. Okay, my family is still very scared of us riding bikes and this thing. Not because of helmet, not because of protective gears. That's just family, and my family and so yeah. I mean, I've been able. They've been giving me the privileges of doing a lot of biking tours and everything, like a lot of bike rides and everything. But to specifically go on a rally or participate in races and all has not been encouraged by my family yet. Like, I mean, so I've never been able to do that. And I mean, it's still a thing. Yeah.
Can you share a failure that you've experienced that has taught you a really valuable lesson?
So again, back in the third semester, I was really trying to get jobs, right? And I wasn't getting it. So I was really low on confidence. I just wanted to prove myself that I can get a job, just so that I can get a job, so that whenever I go back to the family, I know, like, what, I had a job and this is what I've given up for this. But I wasn't getting it, and I didn't get it eventually, right? So that was a big setback, and I was really low on confidence. But when I started working here and we started seeing in the spiral of what we are doing here and what we're creating here, I've realized one thing, that uh, you should never take for granted what you have, right? Because at that time I was like, हाँ ठीक है, I just want to prove myself. And like, that's been a personal learning for me. I've never taken what I have for granted, and that's what, like, allows me to make this even stronger. Because when we are growing old and when we leave for our children what we're leaving or what we're doing, we want to leave something that much bigger than what we've got. So yeah, like when I mean like not taking things for granted is like, I mean, today we can do technically anything we want. Like, if today we all decided to stop working, I think we'll have enough money in our savings that we can still survive our life. That is taking life for granted, right? So not doing that and continue to do the good work is one of the biggest learnings that I've had from not getting a small job. Because I was taking for granted what people would work their entire life and try to get, right? To have a business of their own, be the second gen, right? To coming in this kind of capital, to coming in this kind of a business. And I am so happy that I didn't get a job, because I would have always taken this for granted. Once I got into this, right, it was a game changer. Then I never took this for granted, and I kept doing things as is.
So when you enter global markets, Indian brands often struggle with perception. So how does Vega build international trust?
I would agree to a certain extent that yes, when you say that it's when you say the brands do have sort of like that hiccup to work with India, but it's again on your persistence, how you're able to convince them, what you stand for. Again, if you didn't stand for something so solid, people would doubt you. But again, I would slightly turn the question and I would ask you to look at our neighboring countries. Like, for the longest time until today, Chinese products are called like, "Arey yaar, ye to China ka maal," right? It's like a fake, not product. Tell me one thing, right? Tell me one thing or one brand that is not working with China, right? They can call it all they want, and I am saying with certainty that India is becoming that. Let them have hiccups, but where are they going to go? What are they going to do? No one has that kind of infrastructure. No one has that kind of this thing, right? Everyone blame China. Does Louis Vuitton work with China? I don't know. Maybe it's not them, but most of the big brands are making it there. Most of the big brands, the top-notch quality, top-notch. So it's the same another story, right? They'll keep blaming that hiccups with China, but they'll keep working. So it's that thing that you want to change around the perception. Saying India stands for really, really good products, and now if you see, China stands for the best products in the world. No matter what you call it, no matter who calls what, they still make the best products. They make BYD. They make
so many smartphone brands.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything happens in China. Apple, for the longest time, still India didn't come in. Foxconn was making Apple, making iPhones. Why? Because they're the best. Similarly, India is becoming the best now. That's what. When all these industrialists or when all these industry experts are saying that it's a golden era for Indian manufacturing, this is what they mean. Labor costs are low. Government is incentivizing. People are in the world market are going to be able to fight with our products, right? And if the youngsters and if we don't make use of this time, it's the biggest loss, far bigger loss than our history that India will ever see. And people are making some crazy businesses, crazy lives out of this, and I'm so happy seeing India grow in such a way. It's fantastic.
In the next 5 years, where do you see Vega?
I will answer in different segments. Okay, in tech, we will be where we spoke about. We'll have smart features, the visors, and more on that front for sure. Keeping in mind for the price of the customer, like making it more available to all. That's the term in terms of tech. In terms of uh, global player, we'll be a very very significant player in the world market. Now have a Spain warehouse. We'll probably have more warehouses across the world. We'll be at least among the top 5 brands in the world in the next 5 years. I can write and give it to you. You can take that. Vega will be one of the top 5 brands in the world in the next 5 years. Going to sort of we spoke about product. We spoke about in terms of products, we'll have a very very diversified in-house manufacturing products. I think in the next 5 years we'll have jackets, gloves, bags, sort of shoes, all these other multiple accessories that we produce in by ourselves, not just in India. We'll have that in the next 5 years. Personally, I also believe that we'll be in a stage where we will have probably one more business that we will have another vision for relating that, but that's a personal thing, that's a personal goal. I don't know how far that is, but we'll want to diversify real estate or something of that sort. So that would be in the next 5 years, and and we'll be probably one of the biggest. We are one of the biggest helmet manufacturer, but maybe helmets and accessories manufacturer. That would be the next 5 years. We'll be probably with a nice racing team, as you said. I never know.
I would love it. I'll start watching MotoGP. So Vega is already in the real estate business, right?
Yeah, it is, but it's like a it's sort of thing that just comes to you. We didn't want it. We never wanted to be in the real estate. We had only one thing. We took a lot of land, but that was like a backup whenever we need funds for the company. The land was giving us enough value, and we didn't want to do equity and do trade, and because that just diverts your focus. So we've always stuck on buying land, and whenever the company needs it, we sell it. But then what happened is, when the times are good, we gave these 2 projects to 2 partners and said that, okay, you build, we have nothing to do with the building, and you sell it, and out of that certain portion will be kept for us. That is how the 2 listing ones, but both of them defaulted and both of them ended up running up. So that's why we had to take it up from them, because we believed that the house owners and all should not go unattended, and their money should not, because they invested saying that, okay, Vega is a backup, right? Because it's Vega's land, so something is going to be done. So keeping that word, these 2 projects came into us, and we are trying to provide as much to the people back there. Right? So that is how we got into the real estate business. But when I mean real estate business, like looking up for opportunities to take up more and do more, not just this.
Suppose I'm a young entrepreneur who's starting my money making journey. What's an advice you'd give to me?
I'm a young entrepreneur. I don't think I'm in the right place to give advice. But my only thing was try and solve a people problem and make that your problem, and that can help you achieve a lot of things in life. That would be my only advice. But I don't think I'm there to give advices yet. I have a long way to go myself. I've only been 6 years. You should probably ask a generation above me to answer this question, and they'll probably guide you the right way. But I don't think I'm qualified yet.
What's one rule that you always live by in life?
What is one rule that I always live by? Do no harm, but take no shit. Right? I've really lived by that. That I try and do only good to others. Right? I am very very clean-hearted as a person, and I'm very emotional as well. So I've considered that as my strength, not my weakness. So I use all my emotions to think well for the other person and do the right thing. I always stand by. I've done Gita classes, so I always sort of I've not completed Gita classes, but I've done few Gita classes. So I've always stood by doing the right thing. But if you're not getting that back in return, or not just getting that back in return, but if someone doesn't mean well for you, take no shit. So a lot of people are just trying to please people, and trying to be there. I don't stick by that. I do good for others. They're happy. If they're not happy, they're not happy. So that is that thing. And personally would not take people coming and telling me things. I do my work, and that's it. I move forward.
Okay, so let's wrap
Thank
it
you
up.
so much for having me. I've really enjoyed doing this. I didn't know I would enjoy it so much. It's my first, and I hope to do many more.
We loved your insights, and it was a great episode.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It was very nice, guys.
Thank you so much, Mr. Parth. This has been a really inspiring and insightful conversation. From making helmets to for saving lives to building a global brand, your journey is a powerful reminder that passion and persistence gives impact. To our listeners, remember that safety is not an accessory; it's a habit. Until next time, keep learning, keep building, and keep making.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you.